The world, as not just one country, stands at the dawn of a new decade, a new age, a new year. We stand so disconnected within the energies within ourselves, our fellow humans, our animals, and also that of the world. People these days are at an ever present and demanding struggle to feel worthwhile and of true worthiness. For at present, too many are only deemed worthy in terms of their family name, financial and material standings, or for their status career wise. Let me tell you, true worth is found in a person's personality, emotional value to another, as well as in one's resilience. The problem with how one sees themselves worthy is focused too much on egotistical accomplishments and their outer world. Too many, when choosing a life and career path, focus on either what society, family, or friends deem to be worthy, or what will pay them the most financially so they can accommodate their ever present and growing wants. To be selfish is not necessarily bad, as you are taking care of yourselves, and to be selfless is to take care of others. It's about finding the balance. By many focusing on all of their wants and not their needs, we then fail to aid the needs of a stranger. Needs such as food, safety, a home, mental and medical support, and it's my belief these are a necessity. To stand for correct righteousness is to stand for one and should be to stand for all who show self reflection, self and environmental growth, and who seek wisdom, wonder, and a wholesome will. Well, now we are given the choice to stand as planetarians who know the ways of nature. The first being of matter, mineral, or element. The second nature is of a plant, and together with the first, create our beloved earth. A plant's nature is to grow, to nurture, to heal, to seed, and to flower. And as you can see, our earth is taking stands, taking flower. The third being the animal nature. In fact, these states of nature withhold some of our greatest lessons. If an animal is predatorial, it creates the emotion or energy emotion of fear and survival. This is such a lesson, for this is where we currently stand. Liberty and justice are important, but people too long have forgotten truth and honesty are words and actions that need not but have been lost. Well, let this be the sword of truth, cutting away the lies, the tyranny, the fear, the corrupt, and the shadows of leaders, false, who know not guidance. For to be a good leader, you need to know the people you will lead. I believe in leaders, but not in such a one that leads for control, war, or greed, be that of material or ego. Whether you call it religion, Sanskrit, prophecy, spirituality, planetary, or revolutionary, that day of day will soon be upon us. This predatorial nature is one that needs and will end if you wish to truly be in the nature of the Creator. For to create is not to destroy. We currently look to figures who stand for such a nature. This lies in egotistical representation, who enforce a way, a system, an image, or a fear fable, be that of illness, financial currencyless, or freedomless, all the while subtly brainwashing one to a domestication which bit by bit reprograms us to become driven by an innate desire for pleasure or to please and a corresponding fear of rejection. Certain idols controlled, closed minded, or misleading religions, combined with political, the elite, or a secret society's agenda, are to destroy or rather to shadow. There is truth in all religion, but no one heavenly avatar wanted to form a religion, for their goal was to teach, which to teach is to later enable the ability to create. I believe the church was originally there to provide a place of safety, food for the hungry, and a bed for the homeless, at any time, day or night. Too many follow religion literally, and in doing so have missed the emotion or action to then create peace. I ask you to stand in the true way of God, or as I do, Creator. What is the most underused word or action these days? Is that of creativity. To imagine, to nurture, to grow, to remember, to share, and to love is to create. What is being created, or rather enforced, is the way of capitalism, the way of hierarchies, the way of money. This started long ago, and through horrific invasion and stolen rights, replaced with enforced laws, the world has slowly, bit by bit, lost its voice. Who speaks for the cries of those suffering? Who speaks for the starving? Who speaks for the homeless? Who speaks for those in need of medical aid? Who speaks for the animals slaughtered? And who speaks for our precious environment? Our beloved home is in a state of emergency. Money, all but a number, is its current voice. I ask you to envision a world where there was no rat race to slave for your money, working more than you truly live, where money is not buying oil, gas, fossil fuels, guns, pharmaceuticals, fame, and the image of happiness. Can you imagine that? For once money is eliminated, what remains? A world with unlimited resources, a world where it does not cost to live, a true free world. Every animal is born with food and a home. Surely we should be no different. Once money flags, as in territories, are eliminated, such things as renewable energy and medical aid become just a matter of time and no longer cost. Humanity will, instead of chasing the currency day to day, will instead seek out their true passions, desires, and creative endeavors. I dream of a world where no man, woman, or child be judged by the color of their skin, their own religious or spiritual beliefs, or for how they identify, or whom they choose to love. For I believe an individual be not judged for who they are, and instead judged for their intentions, important interactions, their actions, and be encouraged to then right their wrongs or acknowledge and understand their mistakes so they can begin to better themselves and their environment in the future. I believe in a world that can work as one, and I acknowledge in our current world affairs this is a long shot. However, I believe instead of having people oppose someone who is similar and primarily wants the best for their people, those who stand opposite one another unite or guide us together. I dream of a world and not be taught the ways of fear and hate, but love, peace, understanding, and compassion be words we live up to. I believe in a world that can put aside one another's differences and let go of the ego, power, greed, and money. For I believe in a world that knows the sense of community, but on a planetary level in which we accept and share with one another. I dream of a world without the elite, who are corrupt, cruel, and insidious, where pedophiles, serial killers, poachers, and those who harbor ill intent are held accountable to their crimes or are no longer a part of our timeline. I believe in a world that instead of the government, which are elected to represent the people, do this very thing, where terms like top secret, half truths, or broken promises are eradicated. I dream of a world that endeavors to courageously utilize the states of nature, universal energy, and by doing so, raise our planetarian vibration. JFK had many beliefs, and Martin Luther King had a dream. And I think it's when you begin to truly believe in your dream, that's when it can start to become a reality. No, forgiveness starts within, for forgiveness starts in oneself. You don't have to forgive one's actions, but you can choose to forgive one's spirit. For our soul is a makeup of all our spirit's incarnations, and this is energy. A little bit of hope is containable. Too much hope becomes a threat. Therefore, anyone who stands up to this tyrannic system is either taken out or have a defamation of character done against them, so the mainstream will turn away from them. As I currently navigate life in high-rise government housing, I remember and recall my state of mind and environment, how I and we, as in my community, felt inward and outwardly. Archetypes such as outcast, abandoned, forgotten, lost, hopeless, addict, psychotic, cultural bias, racial, religious, or GBLTA, discriminatory. It has to do with intentional and unconditional love and care, but most of all, a sense of belonging. We are all witnessing the planet and animals and humanity in an ever advertised state of distress, fear, and survival, and feel under-equipped and under-prepared with what is confronting us. Effective, a word that promises radical change, but we don't evaluate the word infective in terms such as emotions, mental, physical, and environmental, and therefore repercussions. Why? Because the effective way is based on what is cost or time effective. No, in this method, what is time effective is doctrined and controlled by what is most cost effective. What is most cost effective is currently viewed through currency and money. In doing this, the cost of emotional, physical, and environmental trauma or injury are partly unconsidered. What better way to enforce, impose, and impress than to create a stage, a state, a pandemic of distressful disaster that disempowers the many of choices and empowers the other currencyful and capital congregation of the wealthy, the egotistical, the self-entitled, and the outdated representation of the elite. Captivity through cost efficiency. In many scenarios, when there is a community or team, we learn that those afflicted, suffering, or sick are, when healed, an asset to the collective. It would therefore only make logical sense that such circumstances and sentient beings be given the utmost attentions, care, comfort, and consideration, ensuring their necessities as needs are met. However, in this day and age of a collective consciousness, they are that it is those who have endured trauma of verbal, physical, or self-abuse, or witnessed a reoccurring shattering of their communities, families, friends, or strangers' crises. Well, through living, feeling, experiencing, and empathizing with my fellow brothers and sisters, it is all too apparent how we are left to try and heal, guide, and survive through each other, as the efficient way is apparently to group us together and use labels such as criminal, sick, mentally or physically unstable, which in turn causes a division of mutual compassion. After this, we then go through an internal judgment upon ourselves and that of those around us, both associates and strangers. What follows are textbook theory and in some cases practical teachings that highly executes a plan or path of action, which deals with the immediate issue by giving or enforcing a sense of relief, but does not deal with the core trauma or root cause. Instead, pharmaceutical, situational, psychological, or recreational ways of coping are turned to. Someone suffering should always be supplied with the essential and vital resources to overcome such a state. However, we put a numeric or currency on what should not cost, which is to live, to breathe, and not just survive, but consciously thrive. A lot of the time, the profit one can make from selling a terminal, reoccurring, or consistent patient is what pays the money through their career or investment. How does one's private peace of mind become another's personal gain? This I ask.